Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Om Sahanavavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the next dharana is kuhanena prayogeṇa sadya eva mṛgekṣaṇe samudeti mahānando yena tattvaṃ prakāśate. Kuhanena prayogeṇa sadya eva he mṛgekṣaṇe samudeti mahānando yena tattvaṃ prakāśate. So what he says is kuhanena prayogeṇa. Through this kuhana prayoga, we'll understand it like kuhana prayoga. Immediately, oh dove-eyed mṛgekṣaṇa, one who has an eye like a dove, a deer. Okay, so oh dove-eyed, oh deer-eyed. Immediately, through the kuhana prayoga, if you practice the application of kuhana, then the absolute great bliss manifests, because of which the truth also shines. Oh, okay. Sadya eva, immediately, instantly, instantaneously. Kuhana prayoga. Kuhana means practice that brings a shock or awe, sudden something which zaps our mind. So during that period, if we are going to focus on that instance of fear or sorrow or pain or happiness, whatever that may be, if you are going to focus on that, then this bliss manifests. This can also be interpreted, this kuhana can also be interpreted as tickling. Kuhana is tickling actually. So if you interpret it as tickling, then okay, if somebody tickles in your by having their fingers under your armpit, we do it to the children's, right? Now what happens? The kid, it laughs, and at the same time, kid or you, we laugh, but at the same time we make the other person stop. If it is making you happy, then why are you making the other person to stop? Is it a cause of pain or pleasure? So we have to focus on that pleasure or that pain or whatever that is, from where it arises. So when you are awestruck, you have to see where this awe is striking. When you are in heavy pain, you have to see where that pain is emerging from. When you do that, sadya means immediately that the striking movement, then the great happiness it manifests, and because of which the truth also is shining. This is a shakta prayoga. So though we can ask somebody to tickle you, or during some even a magic show, that itself is that is also okay. Kuhana prayoga. During the magic show, kuhana prayoga is also a magic thing. You are surprised seeing the magic. You have to see from where the surprise springs. But normally what happens is we try to decipher the magic, or we are carried away by the magic. So both ways you lose the point. Now next prayoga, next dharana. sarvastrotonibandhana prāṇaśaktyordhvayā śanaiḥ pipīlasparśavelāyāṃ, prathate paramam sukham, sarvastrotonibandhana, prāṇaśaktyordhvayā śanaiḥ, pipīlasparśavelāyāṃ, prathate paramam sukham. So, when you control all these sense organs and take the pranashakti, the energy of prana, to higher planes, then you experience a sensation of an ant crawling in your backbone. At that point of time, the supreme bliss or the absolute bliss manifests. Now here, prana shakti. So we are talking about the prana shakti. When all the sense organs are controlled, the prana shakti should be taken away, taken to the higher planes. Prana shakti is the kundalini shakti here. So we already said the kundalini shakti can be taken to higher planes only when you are focused. When you are studying something with focus, naturally the kundalini rises. I told you this. When you do some weight lifting, the kundalini rises also. But the difference is there it is not your effort. You are not putting your effort to rise the kundalini. You are focused on reading or doing exercise. So here what we have to do is you have to focus to take the kundalini shakti from one plane to the higher plane. So when you do that slowly, and that can happen only when you have focused mind and when your sense organs are completely shut off. Therefore, though this is an ana upaya, this is the ana upaya for a higher level of spiritual seeker. Okay, so when you are doing that, you have to raise the prana shakti slowly to the higher plane. Urdhva prana we call it. When you raise it slowly to the higher planes and focus on that, there will be a sensation like there is an ant crawling on your backbone. See, even a simple ant crawling on your backbone can be experienced only when you are focused clearly. So that happens. When your sweat drop or a water drop falls and crawls down, that is a different thing. The prana is coming down. We are not talking about coming down. We are talking about going up. Urdhvaya pranashaktya. Okay. Śanaiḥ, that too slowly. You should not rush through. You cannot rush through that. You have to see that slowly crawling. If it is crawling faster than it is ant, you have to make it move slowly. The sensation is similar to the ant crawling. That is why that example is given. Okay. Now, here the pranayama technique is brought in. Tasmin shati shvasa prashvasa yogati vicheda pranayama. What is pranayama? When you in that means in the asana, when you are established in the asana, then controlling the prana, shvasa and prashvasa, the inhaling and exhaling is what is called as a pranayama. Now, this pranayama, there we already explained. There the yogis accept it in 3 stages. We can take those 3 stages. The puraka can be deshataha, kalataha, and sankhyataha, not vastutaha. Desha, when you hold on to a silk thread, wherever it moves, that is the point you have to focus. We saw that already. Then the time and sankhya count, they are almost similar. Okay, so if you are going to hold on to the prana for 16 seconds or 16 counts, that is a kala and sankhya. That is adhama. That is a lower grade of pranayama. If you are going to increase it, double it, which is 32 seconds or 32 counts, then that is a mediocre pranayama. If you are going to do it 64 counts, that is called as a uttama pranayama. That is why in the Devi Sahasranama, Lalita Sahasranama, etc., we have this word denoting the Devi, Chatushashti Kalatmika. Chatushashti Kalatmika, 64 kalas. 64 kalas is normally interpreted as 64 kinds of knowledges. But 64 counts of pranayama is also one of the meanings there. Okay? So, when you are able to do that, then the prana stays and it becomes very subtle, and you can feel the prana rising. That is the idea. Okay. This is a Anopaya for a higher level of a seeker. Next. Vahnerviṣasya madhye tu cittaṃ sukhamayaṃ kṣipet kevalaṃ vāyupūrṇaṃ vā smarānandena yujyate. Vahnerviṣasya madhye tu cittaṃ sukhamayaṃ kṣipet kevalaṃ vāyupūrṇaṃ vā smarānandena yujyate. Vahni means fire, Visha means poison. Madhya means in between. Between the poison and fire, or between the fire and poison, when you establish the mind in the form of bliss, then either with the prana or without the pranayama, with the pranayama or without the pranayama, then one is associated with the bliss of smara. Smarānanda means kamananda, means a state where the experience of happiness that you gain during copulation, you will be associated with that. See, the word smarānanda is a word which is inserted here to show about to talk about the next two dharanas, with related to that kamananda. So here, smarānandena yujyate. Some people also interpret this as Vahni is the willpower and Visha is the knowledge. So between the will and knowledge, if you are going to establish the mind, or Vahni is the prana and Visha is apana. Between the prana and apana, kumbhaka, if you establish the mind, or Vahni is ida and Visha is pingala. If you are going to fix your mind between ida and pingala, which is sushumna, nadi, different nadis. Okay, so if you are going to establish in that middle state, then what happens is, and establishing in that state means what? Or Vahni is a soft spot and Visha is a hard spot. So between soft and hard spot, whatever that is, sukhamayaṃ kṣipet, you have to see that, you have to do an imagination, bhavana of that state to be a state of bliss. If you see that to be a state of bliss, then that is kevalaṃ vāyupūrṇaṃ. Whether you are either doing it along with the pranayama or without pranayama does not really matter. That point of time, smarānanda takes place. The bliss that takes place during the copulation, that is experienced. See, normally, what is said is, it is not a physical intimacy between a man and woman. This is the intimacy, the combining of the copulation of Shiva and Shakti. A state where you experience a bliss, a happiness for a man without a woman, or for a woman without a man. That is the kind of experience we are talking about. So, Vahnerviṣasya smarānandena yujyate. He will be experiencing the smarānanda, kamananda, without the other half. Okay. See, why it is so is, see, we are not talking about the kamananda, because during the experience of intimacy, the mind is completely lost. You don't experience anything there. You are lost to that experience actually. Here we are focused on that. We are focused on that and we are experiencing that. We know we are seeing that. So that is why the any objective sensorial pleasure is a experience which takes away the mind, which makes your mind dull, which makes your mind completely zap. You don't even know. You experience that. That's all. But here we are talking about an experience where you are focused on it. Okay, this is a Shakta Upaya. So we cannot talk about this. We will see. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.